Hi dear participant, in this video I'm going to teach you how to do an impasto painting. When I say impasto, that means laying of paints in volume, heavy. So let's get started. Let me just show you the materials required for this video. Here I'll be doing small panel of canvases wherein I'll be showing a variety of strokes of how to make flowers. So canvases, any shape or size it can be. Acrylic paints, use the heavy body paints that comes in tubes. Don't use the bottle ones because they are diluted ones and they don't give the desired results. And in other brands like Daler-Rowney, you get separate tubes of heavy body paints, so you can use that. Or in these paints, this is Camel brand, you can use straight away. Or if you want to make this even more heavy and voluminous, you can use this Montmartre Impasto. So this is a translucent gel, and when you add to the paint, it takes the color of the paint. There is no change in the color of the paint. This is easily available on Amazon and other stationery stores. Now, variety of knives. These knives you get in all shapes and sizes, and these are easily available on stationery stores. So depending on the flowers, we use different kinds of knives, or depending on the landscape you are painting, like these small knives you can use for making leaves and the daisy petals. These knives are good for round petals of flowers, for the tulips, for sunflower, and this is a regular knife. I'll be showing you a variety of flowers, and you can see how we use the knife differently. And this is an acrylic plate. You can use any palette and use a straight one. Don't use the one with the grooves, because you have to move your knife like this so that you can pick the paint. So use any plain palette. So let's get started with the strokes. So this is my first canvas, and in this I have planned a small jar with tulip flowers. So before I start, I'll just lay a background, which you can do directly with the brush or a knife, depending how comfortable you are. But just a thin layer at the background with the brush helps you in getting a better coverage, so that even if little is left while doing it with a knife, the canvas won't be visible. So just a small thin layer of paint, not much. So I'm laying the background color, which I'm keeping it very light, very subtle. That looks good, because my flowers have to stand out. So that's it. Now you can use your knife to give it a little textured effect. So with the same colors, pick the colors and give strokes, so that it looks little voluminous, not much, because your flowers have to come on the top. So just slightly voluminous, not much. So take little paints and create some strokes randomly. Again, try to keep it light, so keep on adding more white. And in this I have not added any gel or anything, just plain paints. and I'm keeping my colors subtle. You can mix the colors as per your choice, and it's not important to give knife stroke everywhere when you are doing the background, because most of it will be covered with the flower and the leaves. So I'm happy with this, and now I'll leave it to dry. So now my canvas is dry. I'll just give a small rough sketch of what I want to draw. So here is my jar. You don't need to draw completely, but just give some lines so that you know where the placement of jar and where the placement of flower will be. And I'm just adding spaces for the positions of my flowers. So a random sketch, giving the position to your flowers. So just pick little paint in your knife, and here you can use any knife which you are comfortable with, but this small knife is better because this is easy to handle. And I'm just making my jar. I'm laying the paint little heavy, and basically you have to paint with the knife. I'm just painting with the knife. So wherever your drawing is, keep on adding the color combination what you have chosen. So my jar is blue, and there'll be streaks of green to show the stem to bring in the transparency to the jar. And when you are done with one color, don't hesitate to wipe your knife properly with tissue. Keeping your knife clean is also very important. So these are the stems of my flower, so it would come like down here. Keep on adding to it. Try to cover all the space, white space. I'll do that more. Some highlights. So keep on going till you are happy with your jar. Give the lines properly and keep on cleaning your knife. Add some white highlights which are very important. So my jar is ready, almost. You can anytime go back also to make any corrections what you feel, but it is always better to do it while the paints are still wet. Now I'm starting with the stem. When you are doing a floral arrangement, always do the leaves first, at least for the background, and then you can go and top it wherever required. So I'm just putting the stem first, little darker color, and then the lighter colors will come from the top. So I have not added any gel till now, because we don't need too much of volume in the stem or the leaves. That we need for the flowers. At some places it can be little thicker. Other, when you are putting light, then use the tip of your knife. And when you need it broader, then use the entire base of the knife. So just look at the positions of your flower and put the stem accordingly. So this I have covered most of them, and just add one or two in between, a little broader ones for the leaf. Some little dark and some little light. So I'm mostly done with the leaf. I'm just finishing the jar, giving the highlight again. So basically you just have to go very slow. Don't rush with your project. Now I'll start with the flowers. So now I'm going to make the flowers, and I'm using two kind of knives. One is with like rounded edge, another is little pointed. So I'll be covering like two kinds of petals. Once I start, you will understand, like the one of the petal of the tulip can be little rounded and one can be little pointy, but you can keep both the round, that's your preference. So in this now I'm making pink color flowers. I have taken white and I have taken little crimson, and I'm adding gel, the Impasto gel, Mon Marte gel. That is 1:1 ratio you can use. So mix the gel with little white and pink, and you will see how creamy and how good the consistency is. Mix it really well so that the gel mixes with the paint nicely and there is no lump or anything. See how beautiful the color is and how beautiful the consistency is. Collect your paint at one place and clean your knife. Let's start with the first flower here. So load your knife, the first half of your knife, with your paint and put very light pressure and release. Again for the second petal, and every time the deposition should be taken neatly. Now this would be little overlapping, so that you have to take care of and release. See, so you have to put the second petal before the first one dries. Take care of that. Load your knife, the half of the knife, press and press very lightly. It should not touch the base of the canvas, and don't worry about the ends because calyx will come on the top, so it will be covered by your calyx. And now I want a little pointed petal, so I'm using the pointed one. And while doing it, take care that it doesn't interfere with the other petals. So you will really have to do it very softly. So I have loaded my knife with this pointed knife and place it over the top. Press it and bring it out. Okay, now the next one, again I'm using the rounded one. and in this I'm planning to do 3 petals, so you can do 2, you can do 3, it's completely up to you. And then again the pointed one, but make the positions little in and out so that it looks nice, and whatever is not required you can like just clear it up. But don't worry about this because this all will be covered with the calyx. And before it dries, yes, of course you can slightly go back again to make the corrections, but don't do again and again, otherwise that spoils the beauty of the flower. It won't look as smooth as in the first coat, so it has to look like really smooth. And then the third petal. So I'm putting one in the center. So you just have to put a light pressure without like touching the canvas so that it just stays at the top. So green color, I think my knife was dirty, but that's okay, you can remove it slightly. So don't be scared of like making mistakes also. It's completely fine, you can fix it before it dries, because acrylic, once it dries you cannot do anything. And one last flower I'll make here, just a small one. Maybe I can turn the canvas like this so that you can see also clearly. A little overlapping, and like so. I'm done with my flowers. Now to give it a connectivity, I'll just add some calyx again with the green color. So just take little green color, a little yellow to give the highlights, and you can use a thin knife to give the calyx. So I've added sap green and little yellow, and just from the top of the flower add little small leaf kind for the calyx. And in this I have not added impasto gel because that's not much required. We don't need too much of volume in the leaves. If you want volume, then you can certainly add. So keep on adding. Give it a good connect to your if you are not comfortable like doing while it is still wet, the leaves you can add once your flowers are dry to avoid any mess up. So it's almost ready. I'll just put little dark where it touches the jar. So for this I'll just add a hint of black to my green and add few leaves here. So I'm I'm almost done. Maybe just a highlight of white here. And here is my first flower, that is the tulips. Done.